All right. Hey, everyone. We're here with Cullen from Cul's Courthouse Grille. We're very
Hello,
excited to see
everybody.
you. Hello. So, can you tell us a little bit about Cul's Courthouse and how y'all were started?
Yes, indeed. So my mother, Bonnie, everybody knows Bonnie, about 12, 13 years ago, her and I would chat about her kind of life after retirement. She worked for the same company for about 30 years, and I had been doing restaurants all my life. So she kind of threw out the idea, why don't you and I do something? And that's really how it started. She lived in Charles City County for probably 10 years at the time. The location was, it was in the middle of nowhere to me. I was from Midlothian. But that's how we ended up in Charles City County. And it's just been great. It's been wonderful. I mean, the trail was, two parts were already there. Two little pieces, 7 miles from the Charles City Courthouse to Heron Creek Market, and then across the Chickahominy to the 9 miles into Williamsburg. So that was here. So we, as a mom and son, small little business like we started with, I mean, we kind of grew with the trail. We made great relationships. The patience that, it was shown towards us, because, we didn't know a whole lot about it. I mean, I worked in restaurants, but as far as running a business, my mom had just, really just was finishing up her career. So it was great. That's how it started.
Wonderful. I like the background. All right. So, how have things changed since the COVID-19 restrictions have gone into place?
So drastically, just as far as the business part of it, when they kind of came down a month ago with, for restaurants, specifically our situation, for to go only, we what was going to happen. Okay. As far as our future, at the moment, we were very much in the present moment, like, what are we going to do today and how we get to do it tomorrow. We never really entertained the fact, the idea of closing. It just wasn't something that we really discussed, and we wanted to be able to make sure folks weren't interrupted with their pay. I mean, and I discussed it somewhere else about, the restaurant industry typically is a paycheck to paycheck industry. So, we were concerned with just being able to do enough business to pay everyone.
Right.
But really, honestly, Claire, I mean, we're just grinders, man. We love what we're doing. So if there's any kind of way to keep going and working, we loved it. And let me share this. You asked the effects of it. The trail has been such a blessing to us in so many ways over the years. I mean, this is our 11th year. We opened in 2009. The trail is such a huge part of us. And during this crisis, it just showed it all over again on what a blessing the trail is for a small business like Cul's Courthouse Grille. Over the weekends, April really was kind as far as the rain. So the cyclers were out and they were coming up. They were getting to-go food, practicing, social distancing. They were very accommodating as far as, going by the rules. But they have given us such a shot in the arm, when we needed it most. So we love you.
Well, we love y'all.
Runners, all trail.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to hear that. I think there's one thing you maybe forgot to mention. There's something your kids might be doing for all of the takeout orders.
Indeed. Absolutely. So I'll tell you, when the governor first came out a month ago and said restaurants are to go only. I just knew we would be fine regardless. I mean, it was concern, but when I talked to my wife immediately, I could hear the nervousness, anxiousness, concern in her voice. So when I came home that night, I walked in the door. The kids were at the kitchen table, quiet, unusually quiet. I knew something was going on. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? You know, it was my son and two daughters. And I'm like, you know, to my wife, I'm like, what are they doing? And she said, because, you know, she was talking to them about what was going on and daddy's
Right.
work, you know, we're going to have to figure something out, you know, but we'll be fine. They came up with this idea about writing individual cards to each customer that got a to-go bag, and they put their own little handwritten cards, and it said, thank you very much. It means the world to us. And they, you know, they decorated it. My son even drew, you know, an actual world with people around the world holding hands. I'm like, dude, this is like the best thing I've ever seen. So yes, they did that. And the, you know, the response to it has been just so, I mean, it's just very endearing. It's, folks just really appreciated that. And it's just been very touching.
Right. I think that's so special that they wanted to do something and help you out as well.
I know, exactly.
Very cute.
It was.
All right. So my last two questions are, what is your favorite place on the trail, but it can't be where Culs is? And what has been your best interaction with a trail user?
Favorite place on the trail? Man, oh man, it's a great question. Because I go over the bridge, the Chickahominy Bridge, there's just something about, you know, going over to that and then coming on the other side, you know, you see folks that are kind of, I don't know, it's corny, but in looking over the Chickahominy River right there, it's a gorgeous view. And that is a view that I see a lot. The
Right.
Richmond side is great, you know, even driving in when the sun's setting over kind of like the Richmond skyline, that's kick butt. I tell you, you know, I ask folks a lot that come into Culs, you know, what is their impression of the trail? I mean, these folks, you know, this is something that's new to me as far as just the folks that cycle, you know, specifically cyclists, and I know runners and trail users all alike, but, you know, cyclers specifically, that this is just what they do. They go all over the country to ride trails. So when the Capitol Trail came, you know, they come from all over, and I'm asking, I'm like, you know, well, how do you like the trail, the Capitol Trail? Oh, it's just one of the best. I said, well, hold on, you don't have to, I didn't build it. You don't have to, you know, blow smoke up my tail. They said, no, seriously. I said, well, what is it about it that is so, you know, spectacular? And they say, and all of them are just the same as, they're very, very complimentary on the way it's maintained. You know, the structure of it, it's aesthetically, you know, the history between Richmond and Williamsburg. They just really go on about it. And it's genuine. They're not just being complimentary. They are just, they say it's just one of the best trails that, you know, that they've ever been on. And so those stories are, I can't remember one specifically. It's just kind of the general consensus of how, you know, special the trail is. And we're very proud to be, you know, a small part of it. Just how, you know, luck has its way of bringing, you know, people together. And it's a blessing for us. For
Right.
sure.
One of my favorite things to do at Culs is look at the map y'all have, where all the trail users can kind of pinpoint where they're coming from. It's always fun to see how far away people come to get on the trail and come to Culs.
Absolutely. And folks are really, they're like, no way. You know, you have our map in the restaurant is filled. It's the whole world. And it's just, well, we need to redo it because there's so many all over it. But yeah, I mean, it's the truth. I mean, they're coming from all over, whether they're doing, you know, the cross country ride, you know, folks from Australia. It was one of them, it was like the 40th anniversary a few years ago, and they were coming over, either starting in Jamestown, going all the way over the Oregon Trail. And it was just a lot of folks doing that stuff. So it's killer. All you got to do is talk to somebody throughout your day, and you're going to be blown away from where they are, not just at Culs, just anywhere really. But it's really been a reminder to us, like, hey, just ask them, what's going on, how you doing, where you from. You never know what the answer is going to be.
Right. That's very true. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. Thank you to your family and all of your staff for staying open and working hard and just being awesome.
Thank you very much, Claire. And we, like I said, the Capitol Trail is a blessing that we could never imagine, but we will always be a partner with the trail users. And I always say this also, trail users are the kindest, most generous group of people that you ever want to meet. They're a collective group of just insanely wonderful human beings. And that's the truth. So, but thank you very much, Claire, for doing this. I was glad to be a part of this.
Of course. Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay.